This is Auston Matthews, a goal-scoring machine, a once-in-a-generation talent. Since stepping into the league, he's done one thing better than almost anyone in the modern NHL, put the puck in the back of the net. We're talking about 60-goal seasons, a 69-goal season, Rocket Richard trophies, and highlight reel goals that make you think he's playing on rookie mode. His shot is lethal, his release is automatic, and his pace is historic. Some even think that if anyone's going to catch Ovechkin's record, it'll be him. And at first glance, that doesn't sound crazy. He scores in bunches, dominates possession, and makes elite defenders look average. Night after night, he's a nightmare matchup for goalies. But then, the playoffs start, and everything changes. The same sniper who dominates from October through April suddenly vanishes under the pressure of playoff hockey. It's like clockwork. 1 or 2 goals per series, sometimes none. And every single year, the result is the same. Early exit and the same old headlines. The Maple Leafs never just lose. They always choke. Same story, different year. And at the center of it all is a player too good to fail, too talented to disappear. And yet, every spring, he does. Auston Matthews, a generational scorer, a human highlight reel, a shot built in a lab. But come playoff time, the numbers drop, the goals vanish, and the spotlight gets blinding. This isn't about bad luck or unfortunate bounces. It's about a player built for greatness, going missing when the lights are brightest. And it's happened enough times now that it's no longer a slump, it's a pattern. You can't dominate the regular season, disappear in May, and still expect to be mentioned with the greats. So how does the NHL's most dangerous scorer become its quietest ghost? Since the moment Auston Matthews stepped onto NHL ice, he's been a machine built for one thing, putting the puck in the net, and he's pretty damn good at it. From his 4-goal debut to leading the league in goals multiple times, Matthews hasn't just lived up to the hype, he has surpassed it. He's averaged nearly 45 goals a season since entering the league, and that's with injuries, COVID-shortened years, and constant top-line matchups thrown his way. In 2021-22, he scored 60 goals, the most ever by a Maple Leaf. And 2 years later, he followed that up with a ridiculous 69-goal season, the highest total of the salary cap era. His scoring pace is absurd, especially in the modern NHL, where goals don't come that easy. Over the course of his career, he's sat in a category of his own, brushing shoulders with only legends like Ovechkin, and going back further, generational snipers like Brett Hull and Pavel Bure. But what sets Matthews apart isn't just volume, it's how he does it. He scores from distance, in traffic, off the rush, on the power play, even short-handed. His release might be the most deceptive in the league, and his ability to create space and get a shot off in tight spaces is almost unfair. He's not just a great scorer, he's historically efficient, technically elite, and a highlight reel scorer who, by all accounts, should be rewriting record books and dragging teams through playoff rounds. But that's not exactly what happens. When the playoffs do roll around, Auston Matthews' goal scoring tells a very different story, one that's been painfully consistent and frustrating for Leafs fans. Every postseason, no matter how dominant he looks in the regular season, his goal totals drop off sharply. Series after series, Matthews struggles to find the back of the net, often managing only 1 or 2 goals, if that, over a full 7-game series. That's not just disappointing, it's devastating for a team that relies on him to lead the charge. In the playoffs, your best player has to be your best player no matter what. You need those 5 or 6 goals in a tough 7-game series, the kind of goals that would swing momentum, that forces opponents to adjust their own game plans. But that's yet to happen. One of the most glaring stats, Matthews has never scored a single goal in any of his second-round games. Not one through the 10 games he's played in. In fact, he has just 3 goals in his last 20 playoff games. And to make matters even worse, Matthews has the most missed nets this postseason. Those shots that usually go in during the regular season keep hitting the posts or missing wide, adding pressure and making it seem like he's losing his touch when it counts. On top of that, he also has the worst goals above expected at -3.7, which just shows how much he struggled to convert chances into goals this postseason. That kind of scoring drought isn't just a slump, it's a huge problem that leaves the Leafs in a tough spot when it matters most. Playoff hockey comes down to every little goal, every single play, and when your best guy can't find the net, it puts extra pressure on every single other guy on the roster. Teams know this and start shutting Matthews down even more, because they figure out a way to stop Toronto's biggest threat. The pressure, the tighter defense, and all the eyes on him seem to take away the Matthews that we see in the regular season, the guy who can score from wherever he wants and whenever he wants and carry the team. Instead, what we get is a frustrating, familiar story. The star goes quiet when the games really matter. As you all know, the playoffs are a different beast. During the regular season, Matthews can usually find those little pockets of space on the ice to work his magic. Defenses aren't as locked in, and there's more room to breathe and get off shots. But once the playoffs hit, teams tighten up big time. They know exactly who the danger is, and they throw everything at shutting him down. And that is exactly what's happening. Defenders just don't give Matthews the time and space that he usually has in the regular season. And then to add on top of that, there's the mental side of things. When goals stop coming, confidence takes a nosedive. The harder it gets to score, the more you start second-guessing yourself, and that can spiral into a full-on slump. Add to that the fact he's playing in Toronto, where the spotlight is just brutal. The media there doesn't just report on the games, they dissect every single movement, every single missed chance, every quiet night until it feels like the whole city is breathing down your neck. That kind of pressure can crush even the best players, and Matthews is no exception. Add all that together, and it's pretty clear why Matthews can't perform in the playoffs. He just isn't built for them. And that's where the comparisons start to sting, because when you look around the league at the other guys Matthews is in a so-called tier with, the true superstars, there's a clear difference. These are players who don't just survive the playoffs, they elevate in them. Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl are insane in the regular season, but they somehow take their game to another level in the postseason. Nathan MacKinnon also just turns it up another notch when it comes to the playoffs. Then there's guys like Kucherov, Crosby, Rantanen, Ovechkin, Pastrnak. All of them have a true track record of stepping up when it counts. These are the names Matthews is constantly being mentioned alongside during the regular season, but come playoff time, the gap starts to show. While the others elevate their game, he fades away, and that's the problem. Not the expectations, but the fact that he hasn't even met them when it counts. And for Toronto, this one hurts a little bit more because this year wasn't supposed to be like all the others. Leafs always say that this is our year, but for once, that optimism didn't feel completely delusional. The team looked pretty legit. They were finally getting solid goaltending, the supporting cast wasn't disappearing when it mattered, and for the first time in a long time, Toronto actually won the division, finishing ahead of both Florida and Tampa. There was a real sense of momentum. On top of that, Matthews was officially named captain over the summer. It felt like the start of a new chapter, a fresh identity for a team that's been stuck in the same loop for a decade. Expectations were sky high. Then came the injury. Early in the season, Matthews was placed on injured reserve with an upper body injury. And it wasn't just a few games, it lingered around. He missed a big chunk of the season, even flying to Germany at one point to consult with a specialist. By early December, there still wasn't a clear return date. It wasn't until January 4th that he finally came back, and when he did, it was clear he just wasn't the same. His production dipped, not dramatically, but noticeably. He finished the year on a 40-goal pace, which for 99% of the league would be outstanding, but for Matthews, it was his lowest goal-per-game rate since his rookie season. For a guy expected to be chasing Ovi's record, just good isn't good enough. Auston Matthews is still a great player, don't get me wrong. He makes plays, he's getting assists right now, and his defensive game is among the best in the league. But none of that really changes the simple truth. The Maple Leafs don't pay him to just be solid and good at defense, they pay him to score goals. And when he's not scoring, everything else falls apart. If Matthews was producing at even close to his regular season pace, we might be talking about a deep playoff run right now. Maybe even something historic considering this team's history. Instead, we're left with these same questions, the same disappointment, and the same potential early exit. He's the face of the franchise, the centerpiece of the so-called new era, and for better or worse, the Leafs will go as far as he can take them. But if he keeps vanishing when it matters most, that ceiling might never change.